Because they used to work pretty good. You know?
Yeah, I actually expect it to stay pretty much the same because it works.
Yeah. And they have some reason, you know. Usually you don't even want to hear the reason. I mean, you can tell me, like, it used to work and now it doesn't work.
We ran into, what was it? We ran into Google is, what was that one last week I ran into where they're making Chrome compatible, or making the Chromebook compatible with Droid software. They expect it to be one version-ish. Is that what it was, Leroy?
Well, they've been doing that since 2015 or 2014 or something.
They control the world. So.
But if they make it the same as the Droid.
Well, you know, I think the kernel is the same on all this stuff anyway.
It's very similar.
But I've already run into this with my Chromebook. I said, oh, I can in this new ShriCam deal, I can load the ShriCam app on this. That would be cool. No.
So it's not that compatible.
It would be nice. That would be nice. We could load either on either platform. And they're looking like they're going toward that. That would be nice.
Trying to do like what Microsoft, but at one time they wanted to have a phone, tablet, all versions of computers, all run the same stuff.
Yep.
That's a good thought.
Yeah.
Came out with Windows 8. Bad mistake.
Yeah. Well, they still have that goal to run Windows on the phone, don't they?
They have a version. You know, it's just not the same. They have Windows 10 actually on the phone. I don't have one like that.
Mm-hmm. If they can pick up market share with that,
look, I tell you something. If they could sell the phone, somehow sell the phone with Microsoft, they could take off. The thing I think they could really take off on are these apps that you have all for Windows.
Now apparently they sell a flavor of this quad-core device. I see quad-core devices like this sold to run Windows. This is probably the same processor that's on my phone.
Well, I don't know. Probably not the same.
It's not the same that's on your phone.
It is this multi-core thing that they go to that for all.
It's like 1.6 gigahertz quad-core.
Yeah, but
what's on this?
It's not going. Well, one on there and then one on a regular PC. Even though it's multi-core, probably not the same processor. Because those things, well, my son said, in the phone you can put like a watt or something like that, and the ones on these computers, you know, they can use a lot of power. But you know, they throw you off with all this 8 cores and 4 cores.
Well, I see the quad core. This is a. What did we say this was? This is the.
It's actually a Celeron.
Celeron.
Yeah.
Quad core Celeron.
It's a dual core.
Dual core. Oh, dual core Celeron.
What they do.
Yeah, doesn't seem to matter. It's the system, the OS is optimized for this particular.
They're saying
device.
The dual core 2000 series. They're talking about a particular version. They're running Windows on it.
I mean, we're running Windows on Pentiums, you know. So.
Yeah. Okay. So it's the same as these guys. The thing with these is the battery life is extended.
Very nice.
8 hours.
You always expect, though, when they start giving you these more and more powerful processors that you're going to get better performance. And you may get better performance, but it's not better compared to all this power that's supposed to be there.
Yeah. It doesn't have, you know, all the options of the other. It doesn't. But for basic use, I'd see no difference between this and my quad core system for browsing and stuff like that. It's the same. See no difference, except at McDonald's. It's slow for some reason.
What's the beep?
Beep.
So this is a. You got it going?
I got it going.
Should tell the folks on the,
Tell the folks at home.
at home what this is. This is 8266 thing.
Yep. Hang on. Let me see if I can.
First do the general executive speak for knuckleheads.
It's a thing. It's a thing of things.
Thing of things.
Internet of Things.
Thing.
Yeah, let me stop you.
How do you know somebody's on this? We're using Hangout?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody's watching right now.
You know, you using it. You do every week, right?
Yeah.
You're using up a lot of disk space.
No,
This meeting doesn't use up that much disk space?
no, it's
Or you don't
recording.
record?
It's recording live on
Oh.
YouTube right now.
Okay, but I mean, it's storing it live on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's using somebody, not your disk space.
I don't really care.
I'm thinking about the universe, you know.
I don't really care about the universe
This
disk
is
space.
like Earth resources. Universe is resources.
He's saving trees. There's not a lot of trees.
I don't really care about the universe's.
Bringing it out
What about all the electricity, you know, of those disk farms, you know, running that stuff out there?
Oh, it's being ran by Google, so I'm sure they've got enough
Somewhere
money.
about Google's power bill, in megawatts, you know, or something. And it's bigger than a lot of cities.
It wouldn't be shocking.
They have their wind farm. They're all
Why isn't
generated
it
from wind
casting?
farms.
Yeah, I know Apple, I think their headquarters, their whole thing is renewable energy on their, they got a lot of money though, so they can do stuff like that.
Come on, start casting. There we go. Yay, cast. All right, so I bought this off of Kickstarter, and it was made by Seed Studio. Let's see here.
It's Kickstarter.
So,
This should be good.
and what it is, oh, wrong, that was the wrong button ahead. It is a, those are updates with the campaign. It's a plug and play kind of device where you plug these modules into it.
With a standard DuPont cable.
It's a 4-connector cable. Little header thing there.
Is there a difference between the modules or they're all the same kind of thing?
There is a difference that I found out. So there's 3 digital I/O on it, and there's 1 analog. There's one that's for specifically for RX and TX, so serial, and one for I2C. It doesn't say anywhere that you could use the serial or the I2C for something else. I would guess you can, but it doesn't say it. And basically, you just plug these in. They're just little modules. They're called Groves modules. And I bought the kit with some modules so I could play around with it. So this one is an accelerometer. So it's very similar to the same accelerometers that we use with the Arduino, only it's got
The connector.
the connectors built into it. Comes with a little cable. I could just,
So you can take this thing and put it on a little airplane.
That's not that new USB standard.
No.
It's supposed to be a new USB standard.
no.
It's supposed to be a-
No. This is actually I think Seed actually came up with this. We'll call it a standard. They came up with the Grove connector, and when you look at it, all of the connectors are the same. There's ground, VCC, signal, and then another wire for something. So if you needed the RX and TX, you'd have RX and TX on that grove. If you needed the I2C, which uses 2 lines, you'd have the SCL and the SCA.
So what does that board actually do?
This board,
It's just an interface board?
yeah, it's got the ESP8266 on it. It's got
Is that the standard 4 meg kind of ESP8266?
yeah, and where'd it go? I don't see a picture of it now. There it is. There's a picture of it.
Shrunk it down quite a bit.
So
Shrunk the logic.
you actually use this, you program it over with your phone.
Through Bluetooth or through the web?
Over the web.
So they have an app.
There's an app.
So what protocol are you talking? Proprietary.
It's TCP, IP.
It's something on top of TCP/IP.
Yeah, I don't know what.
I'm really
Well,
getting
here.
into all these people with their different protocols now.
It's probably cans, right? You can't really program it per se. You can tell it to display the number or whatever, or turn something on and off, I assume.
Question is this: are you sending commands or are you sending programs?
Yes. From what I can tell, you're doing both. So this is a little app I wrote myself, and I'll show. I have to show this first before I actually show how you program it, because I had to reprogram it quickly, and App Inventor gets very picky if I exit out of it. So I got little buttons up here, and I could turn on,
Okay.
turn different colors using. Pink doesn't exactly look pink, does it?
That's pinkish.
Lime, yellow, cyan, green, blue, white, and off. And my original demo, I was going to try to do a temperature and humidity, have it send the temperature back to the
Does
phone.
it take a digital or analog or both?
Yeah, the temperature sensor that I've got is a digital one.
Okay, and it has to work with the Groove
Yeah.
connector there. But you probably could make your own,
Sure.
because those are probably standard kind of sensors. Something that you could plug up to the 8266.
So there is how you, this is how you would make a call. So you could just use a website, and that's all the app that I made does, is when I hit a button, it calls a website. And it gives my access token. It tells how many LEDs I want to turn on, and the color, the hex string for the color. So it's like dirt freaking simple to.
You have to set up something on the server that's related to that token.
It's already done.
Also, okay, but you're doing an app of your own.
I made the App Inventor app,
and then connected that.
but
to the
I used that HTTPS string to cause that to happen, to cause me to turn on and off the RGB, the colors on the string.
Okay, so who receives the string? HTTP, that actually goes to
seed.cc.
but something has to tell
Yeah,
your device
it sends a command, and here's what's going on here. So, like if I wanted to do, well, okay, let's look at this API one more time, real fast. So there's the API for just changing a color, and I can send it right from here. So if I only want 12 of the lights to come on, and I want them to be, say, red. Now I've got 12 red LEDs on. And if
So something has to know about this device and the fact that it is this LED string.
yeah, it sent a number to the.
Does this thing know?
It sent a number to the server when I first connected it.
Okay.
So
The server knows what it is.
and it gives some other examples of how to use it. So you could do it from the command line if you wanted to. This one here changes something. Does the same thing, I think. Oh, it looks like it probably makes them move along or something. The colors
What's that
twinkle.
long line of stuff that said FFFF888?
That's the RGB hex number.
So the code to drive those lamps is fixed.
It's an API. It's not really a code.
It's
Okay,
an
but
API.
it looks like something.
Does the API can't come with the unit?
Well, yeah.
Who does the magic?
Seed.
So the seed server really has all the magic built in there.
As far as I-
And since they know what this thing is, and they know how to control it, and they know what devices you're using, they know how to send it whatever it needs to activate it. Because like in my IoT thing, I have to decide what string I'm going to send it. And it's sort of built into the web server, how it responds to it. So you have an app, you send in a button.
I'm not real sure what that particular call does.
And so I see some of this stuff looks like HTML
Yeah,
kind of commands.
yeah. Those are the actual calls. So when I hit the post button, it's just sending
The string.
the
HTML
string, the HTML string.
Yeah, okay.
Then there is this one here
It
that
calls
does.
the appropriate app, and you pass the appropriate parameters to it, and away you go. Okay.
So we could do brightness of 45 and speed of 200. See what that does. This is supposed to do like a rainbow effect.
And this thing parses it, it generates the effect.
So if it's real simple though. If I wanted to add the temperature and humidity, I just grab it from the screen. See, there's a bunch of groves that it knows.
Okay.
I grab it and I drop it wherever I want to connect it to. So I can connect that to digital 2, and then I click update. Now it's downloading.
It's changing the firmware.
It's changing the app.
Yes, I get it.
And
It's like the thing that you can do manual, except it's controlled, from the web server.
And then I click on the API up thing, and I scroll way down to the bottom now, and I get two more calls that I can make to the API. One will be the temperature and humidity, and it's going to fail because there's nothing hooked up to it. And one of them will be the temperature, and one of them's the humidity.
And what it does is that after you do the update, it loads down new firmware. to this
It's new
thing.
firmware.
Yeah.
It reprograms it on the fly.
On the fly, reprogramming. Which sounds kind of dangerous, but I guess they're getting away with it.
Well, as long as nobody knows the number, its unique number, you can't reprogram it. You can't, because everybody will see my my API token. Now I could just have random people changing the LEDs on this thing now.
You can't. Why would you want to do that?
Well, you can't. If you typed it in on your website, on your web browser right now, you could change them.
But I'm just trying to.
I don't know why
I'm
you
trying to
want
wonder
to.
why you want to do that and let everybody mess with your stuff.
Well, I wouldn't, but because we're broadcasting now,
Okay, I got it.
you can see the number. So here's a relay. So you drop a relay into there, and now I bet there's going to be at least 2 more API calls for the relay.
Now, who are they gonna sell this thing to?
I bought it.
But you're different.
Well, that's a good idea. I mean, this
It's a
is
good
easy.
idea, but it's kind of like
People who want to do stuff in their
People who-
garage,
no,
Frank.
no. People who want to experiment, maybe even like me,
Yeah.
would buy stuff like that. But
I don't see
who
that.
else?
Oh,
Who else on the table is gonna buy one of them?
I didn't update it.
Ken wants one to open and shut
Kenny,
the garage
Kenny
door.
want one?
Yeah, I think you get one for
I-
$40.
I actually think
it's
that,
slick.
I think a lot of people would buy this just because of how easy it is.
It's slick, It is
I
slick.
didn't update the firmware. So now let's see if I've got, so there's a Grove relay on. So maybe it only added one more. Yep. So it actually has on or off, so I could turn it on or off from here. And I could set a button up.
Yeah. I see the extension of this because it's something my youngest son was talking about Christmas time. Says, him and his friends, they dream about, walking into the house and just having all kinds of things happen that are personalized to them.
Mhm.
So if
You
you
make-
wanted to do something like that,
Yeah, you
have something like
make you
that.
make an app on your phone,
Yeah.
a Bluetooth app, and have
Yeah.
something sitting there listen for the Bluetooth and go, all my lights
Yes.
come on. And
Coffee maker's on, making my coffee.
so they've got it set up with IFTTT too, and my previous thing, I could actually just hit this button right here. It would random, but my token changed when I hooked up to a new.
Yeah, okay. So these people they're Kickstarter, and how many of these they plan to sell?
Well, they're actually, Seed's been in business for a long time.
Oh, this is Seed. This is not Kickstarter project.
It was.
Now Seed bought it.
Seed actually did this on Kickstarter.
Oh, I thought these people had enough money, they didn't need Kickstarter.
Wow.
And see, now that you've got that done, you can put 24 ports on it, or have a bus extension.
Remember the 3-port or 4-port I2C bus that I bought off of Kickstarter? I bought it for this because it had the Grove ports built into it.
Mm.
So I bought it thinking that I could do multi I2C chains with this thing.
But the way they have this thing set up now, they have certain Grove ports that you can use, and you need to use those. They sell the Grove ports probably.
But the Grove blocks, the blocks.
Okay.
Yes, and they have a lot more than what I bought. There's
So is this gonna work? I'm playing Silicon Valley now. Is it gonna work? I'm the great investor.
Are they
Is it gonna work?
going to sell these?
Yeah, they're gonna sell this.
They're not going to sell. Well,
there.
if they
There's
expand it to offer like 8 ports, oh heck yeah, and offer it for $40, I'll buy them.
Now, is the
I've had
cable
one.
just for power supply?
yeah.
Okay.
Got to get power from somewhere. There's actually a battery connector on it, a LiPo connector on it.
So you could connect it to 3.7 volt lithium.
And everybody's seen the LED strips. I've had those before.
And they'd sell one that's a multiplexer port, and you get an I2C port.
Well, you don't really need anything as long as you got that multiplexer port.
Yeah.
You don't need anything else.
You just need to
You need
identify that there's a device out there and know how to handle it.
they've got on their wiki, they've got how to make your own Grove sensors. So they're planning on people expanding this thing.
Yeah. If you sell one 12 port for $60, people buy the heck out of them.
So, but I thought you would like it just because it's simple.
Slick. No, it's slick.
You don't like it because it goes across to China.
Yeah, well, right now I'm kind of not into the great server connection. I get more paranoid every time I read stuff about what's doing with these servers and how easy people are hacking stuff.
Well, I think,
And right now it's not a big deal because everybody, you having this connected here, it's not a big deal because you're doing it for fun.
yeah, I'm definitely not doing it to open the garage door.
Yeah.
But I think because it does have the TTPS, I think it's a little more secure than.
It's secure going to the server.
Yeah.
There's no secure coming down to this.
I don't know, but
I'm going to tell you, this is what
I don't know
I'm
what
looking at right now. As a
I
matter
don't
of
know
fact,
what they're doing coming back.
when my turn comes, we'll talk about it, but what you have is secure to the server. I think most of these people right now, like Nest and all these people, that stuff is not secure. Because if it was secure, there would be some indication out there that there's a way to do something secure with small processors like that. Probably the Raspberry Pi, that's probably the one that will be most secure because you have a real computer and a real operating system. With these other things, even my favorite 8266, you don't have an operating system, so that's a problem. There is secure, but it's not really secure.
Yeah, you're not going to open your safe with it.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't even hook it to open a door, but I would do it to control lights or something.
Yeah. Or if you have a good password, most of the time it's not that bad. But if you're betting the farm on it,
Yeah.
just don't do it over the internet.
Yeah, this is all hobby stuff. It's understood.
If I wanted to do a garage door, I don't know. I may do it over Wi-Fi, but I probably would do Bluetooth. That way you have to be within so close to
Or
the.
you could actually do it hard. The one that I have now, I've got a wireless version, but the one I have now is hardwired. So,
Yeah.
Not even wirelessly are you going to get to it, except for if you can get through the router and the firewall and out to the device.
But I thought you would like this because.
It's really cool and really slick.
And it's semi-secure.
And actually, it's the kind of thing that people they sort of put it together in an efficient package. So a lot of people doing this without the packaging. You just write something and it works.
This is wonderful for teaching.
Yeah.
You can get your little knuckleheads. Even the new guys can do this.
Yeah. And it's simple. I mean, we just want to add something new. You just plug in something new.
Yeah, this is the way it's going to be 10 years from now. Somebody's going to want to do something, and this is what they're going to do. It's going to be secure. It's going to be all that stuff.
The real difference is, like on this end, there's going to be a lot more processing power, and this is like small. It's also going to be small like this. Yeah. But even with that 4 meg that the 8266 has, compared to what you have on a phone, that's really not much. And they have, the good software, the good encryption software. The phone has a powerful processor on it, and these things haven't gotten there. I'm probably going to buy a Raspberry Pi. I actually have a BeagleBone, but
the Pi 3
doesn't matter. What's the Pi 3? What does that one do that the other ones don't?
Wi-Fi.
It's quad core.
It's got Bluetooth. It's got Wi-Fi. It's got
built-in Wi-Fi. That's good.
And Bluetooth.
And a quad-core 1.2 gigahertz.
It's a very large improvement over the previous generations for the same price.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's $35, and the other one is $35 too. So why would I can't see how they're going to sell the old.
They're trying to sell them for less.
They'll drop the price,
Yeah.
just like they did with the A's. They dropped
You
the
get one
price.
for $10. You know, it's like what happened with Arduino. $6.
The thing about this is the stuff we want to do is already here. It's canned. It's canned, seriously, and flexible. Whereas with the Raspberry Pi, to do the I/O, you got to jump through hoops.
But actually, the Raspberry Pi, you don't want it to do I/O. You just want it to do this networking security kind of stuff. Ultimately, Raspberry Pi is going to do a real good job with security.
It can do I/O, but I don't like it
I
for
wouldn't think
I/O.
about it for I/O. You know, you have that as a gateway, and then have it communicate with all of your I/O devices.
I don't really like it for I/O, but it can do I/O.
The big thing is that it's got a real operating system. That you can write real programs that work. And other people are going to do libraries that are going to work.
So here, if I click on, if I say on, if I assume that it's off, not 2, 1. Ooh. You hear the relay click?
Yeah. It's like just like my stuff.
Nobody else heard
The
it.
relay click.
It's a really weak relay click.
What I'm going to have to get is some miniature relays, because I remember even years ago there were relays just a lot smaller than these big blue blocks that we get. They're cheap, but they're really huge. Actually, in the 80s there were miniature relays, real small things.
So.
They cost a fortune though. Of course, it wasn't my money then, so that's the difference.
No,
That's different.
that is different. It's not my money. I don't care. So
Yeah, these little
I click on
mercury
that.
relays.
It should tell me the humidity in this room is 41, whatever, and the temperature is
Do you have temperature sensor on that?
25.
See, that works,
25 degrees
that works
Celsius.
just like my thing. I can look at the humidity. I can look at the temperature.
It's the same sensor, yeah.
It's the same sensor.
It's the same sensor. It's the same. It's not the same relay, but it's very, very close.
Something that I found out about, because I was trying to put this stuff in a box. If you put it in a box, it doesn't get the same results as if you leave it out of the box, because the air in that box is going to be hotter than the air outside.
Oh, my phone went to sleep. Wake back up. So you see, you're familiar with it. You see the response there where it says Celsius in degrees, 25?
Yeah.
You know that's a JSON response, right?
Yeah.
So you have to have whatever your website is or whatever has to be able to parse that back to something usable for humans.
And even when you do it yourself, you have to do the same thing.
Yep.
Like if you had that loaded on your own 8266 web server, you have to parse it however you want to parse it. The other thing that I haven't
They just
done,
made it easy.
I thought, that the little LEDs that you got some of them, I got them, the little square boxes. I thought about, I haven't looked up all the stuff yet, but taking the temperature and actually putting it on that display. I mean, it doesn't make any sense if you can see it over the web, but inside the garage, it'll be there.
The if this then that little recipe that I made for this thing, I had the temperature sensor and then I had the LED strip. So if it got hot, it would show that it's red. If it was cool in the room, it would show that it was blue, and if it was nice temperature, the LEDs would be green.
Or you could just put it on a display, so
or you could just
put
it on a display.
And I know you don't have to do that, but hey.
Well, we're
just doing stuff.
They actually make it's an I2C Grove.
It plugs into that.
It's one of the 16x2 displays that plug into that, and you could do just that with it. And since it's pretty easy to figure out which ones it is, the I2C displays that we've got, the 1602, we should be able to make a cable that would plug into it and not buy a Grove, not buy an expensive Grove one. Should be the same. It should be the same thing.
You know, they've been making these Grove kits for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, the Grove's been around for 2 years now, maybe.
Yeah.
But they've brought it to this. It's not really the sensors that I wanted to really show off. It was a little board.
Because they used to sell seed stuff in Radio Shack.
Yep. So that's really what I've got. You saw how easy it was just to change and update it. It was like no real thinking. You just plug stuff in and drag stuff over and you're done.
Drag and drop.
They say plug and play. It's not exactly plug and play, but it's pretty darn close.
The transition now is the same thing I'm running into with the stuff I tinker with. It's an app that runs on your phone.
Yeah. It should be an app that runs anywhere.
Yeah, and I think they're working towards it because if you go to the IoT, the HTTP, it says iot.c.cc or whatever. If you go to that site, it gives you some hints that you may be able to eventually log in there. But
Yeah, so if it runs in, I don't know if this on your phone, it's not in a browser, but if it runs in a browser, it can run on a tablet, it can run on a desktop, it can run on anything. And ultimately,
Could
everybody
run
should
on
get there.
Chromebook.
Could run on Chromebook. Chromebook, it runs a browser.
If it runs in the browser,
Yeah.
I think you're pretty much there.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't run in the
You
browser,
have to have an app for everything. You have to have an app for the Chromebook, app for your phone, app for iOS, for Apple.
and that's what we're learning. There are apps for Chrome that you can load into Chrome, and then there are apps that you can load, but you don't run under Chrome. That's where you run into trouble with this.
Is that bothering you?
Yeah,
You gotta tell Google.
I'm
I'm not pleased.
Yeah, not pleased. Well, they're headed that way anyway. That's what we were saying
No,
earlier.
I think they want to get there. It's just not as easy. You know, remember in the telephone system, we had all these different kinds of telephone switches and stuff like that. This stuff was never backward compatible. Yet the world expected it all to work together. You know, most of the time it did, but it was a hard thing.
we wanted to, but we know it's not going to.
Some things didn't happen, like caller ID. Caller ID was designed, I think, like 1983. It was at least 1990 before it came out. It was in my department, so it was done, you know. But they had to get all the politics in order and get people to put stuff in the right offices. And, you know, you had to be up to a certain level in a phone company before the regulators would let you do it. There's a whole lot of stuff. ISDN is available for a long time before it actually came out.
But caller ID is still like Magic Jack. You get the number. You don't necessarily get the name. Sometimes you'll get the name and figure that out yet. But sometimes most of the time you get the number.
Well,
You know, caller ID was invented by a ham radio guy. They used X.25 protocol for caller ID, and you can hack caller ID boxes and add the AX25 protocols because AX turns it into an amateur radio thingy. Mobile.
Wonders never cease.
I did it once, and it was like, okay, I did it. What was the point? But it's got the AX protocols built into it because of who made it in the first place. I'm done though.
I had two things, but I'll do one. The other one I was going to do when Ray was here about the website. So I was going to talk about security for the 8266.
Oh,
I had
kind of fits right in.
Yeah, just right in. I have my. I learned some extra stuff. We have the RGB cord? I'm still old fashioned, not RGB, but,
The VGA.
Can you
Let's
grab
see,
the
do we have
VGA?
trouble with that? No audio.
You're still not ready for Chromecast, huh?
Not ready. I thought there was some delay kind of thing with Chromecast. Because actually, I could get one. For Christmas, I gave my sons Chromecast. I didn't get one for me.
Is that, is
This-
this VGA stuff still real?
Do what?
VGA still real?
Is this still real world?
The delay comes when you start casting full screen off.
Yeah. If you do, you can run Chrome on there, can't you?
What?
If
Oh,
you-
he's not doing a web page though.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing some web stuff too. No, this time I'm not going to do any web stuff. When I do the web page, I will. This is just PowerPoint. This is a research thing.
You should be able to Chromecast. Why can't you Chromecast?
I don't have a dongle.
No, we've got it.
Oh, so you have a dongle?
Yeah.
I should be able to Chromecast.
Okay.
No, all you have to do is
But then-
start Chrome and
You got to connect to.
But I got Chrome, but I got PowerPoint.
That's okay. You need to connect. You need to be able to connect to his router.
Okay,
Can you connect to his
I can
router?
connect your router.
Okay. The ATC1 router.
there's nothing to plug in.
Just bring up Chrome.
Just bring up Chrome.
Connect to the ATC router, number one.
Okay.
You plug nothing into this.
Oh,
It's
wow.
wireless?
It is wireless.
It's magic.
So
Leaps and bounds.
now
Chrome.
you may have to go to the
All right. Okay, I think I already connected wirelessly.
right.
I'm already connected to the ATC
You need to go to the
Don't know about
Chrome
it, that's the
store.
reason why.
Chrome
I
store.
figure.
Yeah.
We're all gonna go to jail some night.
Chrome store.
Police officer's gonna come in here and sit against the wall.
I usually go to Chrome.
Oh, no.
Against the wall for knucklehead.
No, he's the leader. He goes.
Yeah, I'm the first one to go. Drag me down.
Chrome download.
So Frank, talk to us as you do, what you doing over there?
What am I doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I'm
He's-
going to get an app from the Chrome store, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got an app from the Chrome store.
Yeah.
he's gonna get an app from the Chrome store.
And then I'm going to download it. That's
You've been
gonna let me-
Chromecasting,
Yeah, I know.
you're way past that.
You need type in Chrome App Store or whatever it is.
Oh, wow.
Oh, don't make it smaller.
Not intentionally doing this. Chrome App Store.
Yeah, I'll do that.
There it is, web store.
Web store, there it is.
And then you just want to type in the search there for the Chrome extension. Or the Chromecast extension. It's too many things with Chrome in its name.
Yeah.
Okay, there's extensions.
Hit enter here.
Alright.
It should bring it up. So, Google Cast.
Google Cast.
Yep, add that to Chrome.
What's a plugin?
It is.
That means it can run here.
Yeah.
It's a plugin.
It's
And
Chromebook.
it should. I don't know why it. Oh, you clicked on something else. You don't want to do that.
video stream Chromecast.
No, you don't want that one.
Close this.
Yeah. There it is. So now click on that tab on that new little icon there. And agree to all the junk that. So there's
How many children you got left?
You did it again. Click off of that. Click on that again. See our Chromecast box there?
Yeah.
So you're going to click on that.
There it goes.
And now you're casting this tab, or you should be casting this tab. Click on it again. This little arrow thing here,
Yeah.
if you click on that,
Off to the gym.
yeah, you lost your connection. If you click on this little arrow thing here, it should give you an option to cast the entire screen.
Stop. Circling. That's not me.
Well, that's
I
a
don't-
weird screen.
I don't know why it's,
Is that me?
yeah.
That's disconnected. It's disconnected right now. You haven't connected.
Yeah, it seems like it's.
That's a screensaver.
It's-
Yeah, good picture.
It's almost like his Chrome froze up for some reason.
Yeah. Usually you have to restart it or something.
Oh,
Get everything.
Thank you. You were out of here, huh?
Gotta go to the gym.
Glad you dropped by.
It's funner here than at the gym.
I got a training buddy, my grandson.
Oh!
So I'm his motivation and his ride.
Who's more important? Nah,
Soon,
All right.
soon he'll get hooked enough that he can go by himself.
Well, you got the 1702
Yeah,
display.
Yeah.
Are you going to be here next week?
possibly.
You want to try to do the demo for it?
Yeah, I can probably do some soldering on it.
Well, you got a whole week now.
Yeah, nothing to do between there and then, but
yeah.
a 60-hour work week.
Well, if you can, it's no big deal. I just
All right, I got
thought
the-
maybe
I got the tab.
if you get
Yeah.
time, you could do a
That looks like it's cast.
cast this entire screen.
Okay, cast the entire screen. This experimental.
Yeah. So
Click here.
so which screen do you want to cast? The entire screen or the story? You want to cast your entire screen
Entire screen.
because the entire screen. There you
Oh,
go.
there it is.
Click share
So, because I want to show everything.
because you
Including
want
the PowerPoint.
because you want to do the PowerPoint. So now you can minimize your Chrome and see it's a little sluggish, but it's
So
all
look
right.
at your own screen. Don't look at that
Yeah,
screen.
don't look at the
You can
TV.
point at that screen, but don't look at that screen.
You'll get so confused if you start looking at the TV.
All right, let's see if I got the right one up. Okay,
Woo!
that's it. Bright orange.
And look, no more wires, Frank.
No more wires. Okay. This is kind of it's a mental kind of ride to figure out how to get the best security out of the 8266. Kind of realizing that it's just not perfect yet. But I think I pretty much locked in. I did find out some new stuff about different protocols, and what was available even as of this year, 2016. Okay, so these are the goals. Start with the best possible security, and then look at the different mechanisms and what were the advantages, disadvantages. HTTP has been here for a while. They have something now that's called an Open Whisper protocol, which is what Apple uses and which is what iOS is using. This turns out that this is another company that's doing this, and Apple is taking advantage of the release for their end-to-end encryption. And if I hadn't gone down this path, I wouldn't have known about that. And then to look at what the possibilities for ESP8266. Okay. HTTP or HTTPS is, did I go a sheet? Let's go back. Previous. Yeah, it's been around for a while. And it's regular HTTP, which it turned out that HTTP is one of the protocols that rides on top of the TCP/IP stack. You have FTP and um, this new thing from WhatsApp, and a whole bunch of other stuff, rides on the top of the TCP/IP stack. But you have this transport layer which gives you encryption. And that's TLS or SSL, depending on what period of time you're talking about. Gives you authentication, meaning that you know who the other end is, which is especially good for when you want to do transactions with money. And then, of course, you get in encryption, which is at varying strengths.
So SSL is when you see HTTPS.
Yeah, SSL, the S means you're using that secure level. And with it, on the web anyway, comes a certificate which authenticates you. When you buy a certificate, there's a background check. You pay some money, of course. There's a background check that's done that says you are who you are. And there's a little insurance that goes with it. I don't know if anybody ever paid any out, but it's $100,000, could be $1 million. But they're guaranteeing that you are who you are. So if somebody goes to your website to purchase something, they can be sure that it's you. They also can be sure that it's encrypted. And the idea is you don't want the middleman snooping, which is sort of my latest paranoia, because there are people just very good at capturing data. And by accident the other night, it just scared me to death about databases, because it's kind of a side story, but I was bringing up another server and I wanted to copy stuff from another server, database server, to another one. And it was amazing how easy it is to just grab everything. It's like 5, 6 keystrokes. Whoosh, you get all your data. Start thinking about how these people get wrecked at these hospitals. All they need really is they need to have login access to your database. They can encrypt it. They can do whatever they want with it. 1, 2, 3. It's done. But if you have it encrypted end to end, there's probably still some people who can figure out stuff, but it's just hard because, particularly in the case of this new WhatsApp stuff, they change the code like every session. They change the code every session, so not only do you have to crack it, but it's hard. I don't know how to crack it at this point. All right, so that's what you get from that. Then you have this Whisper protocol. Let's go back one, which they're using with Apple and WhatsApp. And this sort of gives you this is an asynchronous kind of thing. And it's not like with HTTP, you get a query and you get a response. It happens, you expect a response in a certain amount of time, you get a timeout. There's queuing involved with this protocol, so it doesn't have to be a real-time kind of thing. You send a message and you automatically get one back. You're not going to lose it because it's queued. And kind of an example here, Alice sends an encrypted message to Bob. You know Bob?
I know Bob.
I met Bob.
Along with the actual content, Alice advertises a new key that she'll use in the future on this session. Bob sends an encrypted message to Alice along with an actual message content, acknowledges the key that she sent, and also advertises his own next key. So during the time that they're up, they have their keys. If this thing drops, this thing stops all over again. So what you have at each client, he has his key, I have my key. That key is not in the middle anywhere. So we have an encrypted session going and nobody knows how to break it up. And if it changes, if we change the conversation, it's going to change again. So it's end-to-end and it makes it hard to tamper with. Even NSA, and I'm sure they're figuring out how to do this, of course, but they'll have a hard time. So that's actually kind of the optimum kind of thing that you want with encryption. It's like end-to-end. And these places in the middle, you can't get perfect. And the reason that you can't do all of this stuff now with Arduino or with 8266, it's just not big enough for a processor.
Takes a big processor.
Takes a big
to handle all
processor.
this a lot
Yeah.
of overhead.
And then somebody has to write the software and optimize it and all that kind of stuff. And nobody's figured out how they can make any money at that. Even this Open Whisper, these guys have been working on this for 2 years. They've got it to the point now that it's good. I'm still wondering how they make money too. I know Apple paid them something.
Yeah.
And so did WhatsApp, but there's a separate company that does this.
It's an open protocol too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, you can go to a website, you can download it for your Android.
Yeah.
Which again makes me start thinking, how are they making money? It shouldn't be my problem.
If we go with what Jeremy said a few weeks ago, you want the open protocols because that's the ones where you're going to know just how good the encryption actually is.
That is actually true. But I got this group of engineers sitting in here, and I got to pay them every week.
Yeah.
Do the lights and stuff like that.
Probably the big users like the banks will
Yeah.
pay these jokers.
Yeah, probably Apple and these other people. I'm sure they're giving them something. Yeah.
I'm sure they're not hurting, but they want it open so everybody can see. This is how it works.
Yeah.
Go find a problem with
Yeah.
it.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
This works off of prime numbers, is the way the encryption works.
Yeah.
And you could guess the matching number, but it takes like 10 to the 20th year
Yeah,
or something.
depending on the number of bits in the key, it could take, with a cray, it could take a week or 2 days, or
It depends on the message too.
Yeah.
Because the message could be real short, and if the message is short, then the encryption's probably short. If the message is very
but
long.
in this case, first of all, you need to get a hold of that message. Like with the middleman, you can get a hold of that message. If you got enough computing power, you're going to figure it out. The idea is not let them get a hold of it so that they can do this.
So they're doing. So you're talking more like peer-to-peer.
Yeah, it's like peer-to-peer, which should be the greatest thing in the world. It's just hard to do. So what everybody's doing is this thing you were talking about with IFF.
Yeah.
And even this.
Oh, there's tons of men in the middle.
That's the way it's being done now. The camera we were talking about, it's man in the middle. That's the way it's being done because it's actually easier to do.
Yeah, there's like with that. If we're going with the IFTTT, you're talking at least 3 other people have got access to it.
Yeah. So the new wave is this, and of course the government is afraid of it because
they have no control.
They have no control over it. People like it because I even think about with email, the idea that I can send an email, especially if I send it through Google. Google sees it and they could share it with everybody else in the world, And sometimes, I used to never worry about it. Then sometimes just, do I want to make a phone call? You start worried about sharing this stuff through email just because of.
Well, if you start using this secure thing, and you cut out Google, then you've got to have the mail application. No, you don't.
This is a chat function. So,
chat function.
Yeah, this is what they use. WhatsApp uses for chat. iOS uses for everything.
Is this the one that the message will actually destroy itself after a while?
No.
Where the key becomes bad and you'll never decrypt the message?
No, this is not that one, but that's a good idea too. This one, you can have a chat, like the normal kind of chats that we used to do. People don't do, well, I guess some people do it anyways, Facebook chats.
Yeah.
And using this mechanism, nobody can see your chat. And there are many cases.
It's point-to-point secure.
Point-to-point secure, which is absolutely what you want.
So, but if you wanted to have mail and forward mail, you would have. It doesn't lend itself to that.
No.
That PGP, that pretty good privacy, or GPG, that's pretty good for mail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
But
works pretty well
you
for
need
mail.
somebody to support that. Like Google's not going to support that.
Yeah. Google wants to see your mail because they want to sell you something.
Yeah.
You send an email about, like I send a picture of a car or something like that, and I start getting these ads almost right away.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what you're doing. I don't get any of
Oh
that
my God,
stuff.
I get a lot of stuff. It's just spontaneous. It's like somebody could die in the family. It just doesn't matter. You start getting stuff, insurance, whatever.
Well, they have secure mail servers, and they have for years. Who is that?
Hillary Clinton.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was real secure.
Ask Hillary.
The thing about that is that, even though it's supposed to be secure, there are people who are smart enough to make it unsecure.
There's somebody out there that is one step ahead of that.
There
is somebody.
With any of this, though, even if it's point-to-point security, given enough time and enough computing power, they can crack.
But this is not computing power. But that is the point. And I'll say something about that later. If you think about general encryption, if you manage to get the string, given enough computer power, you're going to solve it. And kind of the thing that I found out even reading this, most of the algorithms that are out there are supposed to be, most of them have been cracked already.
Yeah.
If you have enough computing power, you're going to crack it.
And we've got enough computing power to crack a lot of this stuff.
Now, when they usually talk about this, they talk about like a government agency or a large company, because they definitely have enough power. I mean, if you think about NASA, forget it. All that they don't have, they got enough. Period. But they could buy unlimited.
Yeah. If you can get the entire context of both-way communication and turn it over to a cray, they could crack it. It's just got to have enough time.
Yeah.
And you got to have enough power.
Yeah.
The way Google makes their money, though, isn't really the encryption thing.
No.
But they can read text at tremendous rates, and you can see certain words patterns that if a guy says,
analytics.
has somebody died? You look for word die, and look for word flowers, and see. And you can send them an ad from your local florist.
And that stuff is done seamlessly.
Yeah.
Email is almost always sent in the clear too. That's almost always.
Yeah.
There might be some security when you actually log into the mail server, but the mail itself.
HTTPS by default when you connect to Chrome.
HTTPS, it should be secure.
But the mail itself is sent in the clear. When you type a message to me, your message is just sent in the clear. It's anybody that can pick up the packets can put the message right back together, and there's absolutely no security. The HTTPS is only protecting you and your password, and the fact that you're actually connected to.
So you can pick
real
up your
Google.
string and put the mail messages together. No wonder people are scared. No wonder Frank's scared.
Yeah.
That,
and the searches.
It's fairly simple to do. Too.
Yeah. And the searches, anything you search for, because they pattern you real quick.
It's
Because
all,
usually you
it's all
start,
done in
when
the
you're
clear.
looking for something, it's concentrated. Like it's going to be over an hour, you're looking for that same thing. So that's probably pretty easy to put together a pattern. And we got you. We're going to sell them something, whatever he's looking for.
I wrote a program in Pascal, which isn't as fast as C or anything like that, but it just take a 1,000-page book and sort every word in there in alphabetical order and tell you how many occurrences of the and just and all that. That's simple.
Did something like that in BASIC. I mean, years ago. It was slow, but it did it.
And now you got gigahertz processors or standard stuff.
Yeah. And what people can even do, and this is not a new thing, but you can take a string of like those quad core things and put them together and create 16 of them. It would be a supercomputer. Parallel processing.
Parallel processors. You could do that with a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
Cluster computing.
Yeah. All right. These are things you can do with the 8266 now, because it's not what a Apple or what any Linux phone is, but you can do secure password. You can make it whatever you want. And for moderate security, it's really fine. because it's stored inside the processor. Unless you get the thing and decompose it or something like that, you're never going to figure it out. UDP is actually a little bit, I think, a little bit better because it's not in that HTTP stream, and it's you just sending messages. It could be asynchronous. So you need to do more than just get the message. You need to parse. I mean, it's just a random message, and the processor knows what it means, but how are you going to figure it out? And plus, anything that's in the HTTP stream that's what everybody's looking for. That's what they're querying for. They have something new called message queuing telemetry, which is really not new.
It's not new.
It's not new, but a lot of people are talking about this for IoT security right now. And the fact that you can do SSL support. Now, what they don't say, they really don't tell you what level of encryption you can get. I'm sure it's not what you're getting when you buy your $1,000 certificate. It's not at that level, but you get some security.
Oh. Considering that I got a free certificate, it's probably the free certificate.
Yeah, it is. That's right. You can make your own certificate. There's not going to be anybody who trusts it or anything like that. It has to, you're just floating, but you can get some encryption. They don't really talk about, how much encryption you're getting, because right now it's just like the beginning point. One guy wrote a library actually for the 8266.
Mm-hmm.
I downloaded it. I have not used it. I'm not sure how well it works. There's some other kind of downsides. They have this broker that you need to use. It's kind of like that server. You still need this third-party processor. It's not quite end-to-end. This is kind of the diagram. In case you can, like this happens to be a publisher.
Yeah.
Publisher means that this thing just broadcasts this temperature, goes to a broker. Anybody that subscribes to that broker can get the temperature.
And a few of those IoT websites, that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah. And this is something that they're pushing now, or not that they're pushing, one guy or maybe two guys can do this with the 8266. So there's some level of security. For me, it's a bit much, because I'm thinking, end-to-end, two parties. But if you just have to have some encryption, this is kind of where it is now.
Well, if you doing what you're doing with your garage door, you are the broker. You are your own broker.
Yeah. It's right here.
Because you've got it going to your server and then going to the
I can have it go to the server or not. I can go direct, particularly now that I have password protection. But I had it going to a server, and then the server would actually connect.
Yeah. So you were your own broker.
Yeah. Okay. So, but this is kind of that architecture. If something is out there, even there have been the government's interested in it, and there have been some trials. People have these conferences and they talk about it. This has been around for a long time, but they're thinking about this sort of this sensor world out there, and they need something that's sort of simple and it's already established and can be versatile, so they can be able to use it. So everybody's looking at this now, MQTT. It may not be the thing, but sounds like there's a lot of interest. And like I said, I downloaded that. So I conclude, encryption software is lacking for small processors. And the real problem is that you don't have an operating system.
You need a broker to tell it.
In the old days, something with this much power would have an operating system. You used to have operating systems that were 2K. Written in assembly language. Arduino's they just started to get library support. It's not very good. There's this new single processor Arduino thing. You brought one in one time. What's the thing called? It's for IoT.
Did.
It's like the 8266, except it's on a regular board.
Oh, it's got an 8266 in it.
Oh yeah, that one's got some support, but we're still not up to level. Near term, you're just going to have to count on a login and password for low-level security, and use some kind of gateway like a Raspberry Pi or some other gateway processor. And that's to get inside your firewall, and then within your firewall, I mean, it's you.
Have you looked at any like hash that are one-way hash numbers, like the MD5s, checksum
Yeah, I know what
numbers?
you're talking about. No, I hadn't looked at that.
I was reading somewhere today, as a matter of fact, that for ham radio use, because we technically can't encrypt anything, but you can send passwords in the clear if you run them through an MD5 hash. Your password gets sent, the machine on the other side recognizes the hash, and nobody can translate what your password actually is, because the hash means absolutely nothing to anything but the other machine.
Nice. That's a good idea. Another thing that I thought about, you know how garage door openers work? The newer ones have these rotating codes.
Yeah.
You know, you could do that kind of thing.
The problem with that on a small processor is you gotta
store.
Yeah, you
Fixed number of codes.
you're only gonna have 10 or 15 codes.
That's enough.
Maybe.
Well, the thing is that all you have now is you have password, and you know, with some of the stuff you got to say, what would somebody have to do to crack it, and how important is it to them to open your garage door?
You could do something possibly like a password and a random number or a floating code.
The thing is that it's rotating, and you know, I suppose you could figure it out if
you're sitting there watching the stream.
Yeah, or if you have a program that's sort of going through and analyzing this thing. But that would have to be sort of fixed to look for that kind of thing.
Yeah. They're complaining now about some cars are crackable.
Yeah, lots of them.
People that are reporting what's sent.
This is another classic reason that I say that none of this stuff is safe right now. And you know, like they have this thermostat. I will bet you that's not encrypted.
I bet the thermostat I've got at the house isn't encrypted.
Yeah.
I'll bet money, even though it's got HTTPS on it.
Yeah, these people, they're selling stuff and they're making money, and they just say, well, they don't catch me. All these toys, people are hacking the toys, you know.
I hack toys all the
hacking
time.
your refrigerator. Oh man.
Oh, let's see what they got. So I think there's a lot of risk out there right now. It's just that
nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
One of the forum posts that I read on occasion, the guy, he's supposedly a security expert, and he says, "Don't be fooled, because we actually live in a very insecure world."
Very insecure. You know, you should hear network engineers talk about that. You know.
Who wants to be a network engineer? Who wants to be in charge of security? Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Anybody is right mind.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be a job that I would want.
Okay, here's the deal. This was my last thought. When quantum computers become popular, just you know, a couple of minutes. Forget about all that encryption that you have out there.
It's gone.
If with a supercomputer, you could do it in a couple of days now. It'll be a minute, you know. Once you get these
Quantum computers.
super fast quantum computers.
Oh,
forget the encryption.
Encryption's gone.
In game.
It's over.
Yeah.
So when's a quantum computer getting here?
They have them now if you got enough money. You know, they're not practical.
Uncle Sammy's got quantums then.
Yeah, they're not practical yet.
So the iPhone, they cracked the code, right?
You don't know what they did.
You don't know what they did.
Yeah.
Do they?
See, the thing is, there may not have been a problem with that iPhone. You know, what was their problem? Is they wanted them to put a backdoor for the encryption, but it may not. Whatever was in there may not have been encrypted anyway. I mean, you don't know. That was like broad. The FBI wanted to say, I want to grab Apple and I want to make them do anything I want. I mean, that was the whole deal. They should have been able to get whatever they got themselves. They have experts.
Exactly. And they are stupid. They proved that they're stupid, even bringing it up. If if they couldn't figure out that somebody could get this for them without advertising to the entire freaking world,
Yeah.
guess what? The whole world knows now that you can crack iPhones.
Yeah, but they don't know what they did though. And there may not have been anything on it. You know,
The problem
that's
is
the other thing.
the world knows.
Yeah.
Well, that was
The world knows
one
something happened because
particular model.
they haven't talked about it. No, it was the operating systems, that level of operating systems they're talking about. iOS 9, I guess that's the latest one.
So the whole world knows now it's
The
cracked.
whole world knows that.
And that's the problem. That
Yeah.
was the stupidest thing. They should have cracked it, went to these guys behind the scenes and said, crack it, and
Don't-
we would have never known.
Don't
Never
talk about
known.
it. Don't
Did you
talk
hear
about
who it was? It was the Israelis. That's what
it. Was it Israeli? I didn't hear who it was.
That's what I saw, or read somewhere. That I could be
It was a
wrong here.
foreign firm, I think, so
Okay.
it makes sense.
Israelis would be
Yeah,
good candidates. They're pretty good at this stuff.
they're bad dudes.
Yeah, yeah.
Heaven forbid they ever come after us. We're done.
Basically, though, that you pretty much live in a very insecure world.
Yes, you do.
Encryption does not necessarily mean
So this program I got, True Encrypt, is worth food?
Which one is that?
TrueCrypt is what you're talking about.
They probably broke that 10 years ago.
that probably was based off of something.
But the deal, the only protection you got is nobody cares. And the better the encryption, the longer it's going to take, and you know, Uncle Sammy's going to get what he wants.
Oh, yeah, that's a given.
Yeah, that's a given.
The thing, you're not doing anything wrong, so they don't care if you encrypt it or not, really.
They're not interested in you. If they're interested in you,